Parvis is dancing freely in a club with neon lights. The emphasis is on his face and the vibrant lights reflecting off it, giving the impression of abandonment and freedom. Loud, throbbing electronic music permeates the entire soundscape throughout this period, showing Parvis's reality. Here Parvis, a young German-Iranian man in his early 20s, is completely at home, taking advantage of the nightlife and the privacy it offers. There are other club patrons pouring drinks, and the bodies moving in time with the music. Parvis steals a bottle of champagne from the bar. Hedonism and the pursuit of pleasure are evident, emphasizing how Parvis uses these times as a diversion from his everyday existence. Parvis ends up kissing a guy at the club, and the guy inquires about his origin. The following day, an elderly woman prepares the lunch table in a lovely house in a rural area. Parvis is present with his family, which includes his sister, brother-in-law, and some elderly women. A celebration occurs, during which one of the elderly women sings a song and the others dance to it. The women affectionately kiss Parvis on his cheeks. Parvis is placed to work at a local refugee detention facility after receiving a 120-hour community service term for a minor transgression. He is employed there, and a few boys tease him, particularly about his hair. Upon returning, he finds his mother at a grocery store and decides to join her. While there, he selects an item, but the store owner instructs him to return it, implying that he doesn't want him to take anything from the store. The store owner walks away and Parvis eats from the box he picked up and walks out of the store with his mother. He gets a translator job because of his decent Farsi, but not so good that first-generation Iranians don't make fun of his terrible accent in private. The following day, Parvis returns to the community center. Upon arrival, officials request his assistance in translating a woman's words. He struggles to comprehend her words and is under pressure to interpret for them, making a sincere effort to grasp the woman's message. It appears that they are intent on deporting the woman, but she is presenting her arguments to remain. Parvis finally tells them that she's saying she's pregnant. He makes eye contact with Amon, an expressive newcomer from Iran who lives in the block with his vivacious elder sister Banashi, on his first day. Even though Amon must put up a front in front of his homophobic countrymen, he and Parvis find themselves drawn to one another, and Parvis even grows close to Amon's sister Banashi. He inquires about his ethnicity. Parvis informs him that he is Iranian, and Amon remarks that there are many Iranians in Germany. As a group of boys approaches them, Amon reassures him that he won't be isolated here. The boys invite Amon to join them in a game, but he declines, explaining that he needs to pick Banashi and will join them later. Later, when Amon is playing with the boys, one of them tells him not to sit with Parvis. Amon inquires if the new individual is German, and Banashi responds that she believes so. She questions Amon about his interest in him. He denies it and asks Banashi the same question. She also denies any interest, but continues to playfully tease Amon that he fancies the boy. Banashi hears a knock at the door and finds Parvis standing there with bags of clothes that he says he brought. He compliments the plants, which Bana informs him belong to her brother. Amon announces that he is going to take a shower. Banashi and Parvis engage in a conversation about Iran. Banashi shares that she studied music in Tehran. Parvis attempts to recall the name of a female singer from Iran. The conversation takes a light-hearted turn when Parvis starts singing and dancing to an Iranian song, prompting both of them to burst into laughter. Parvis pays a visit to his friend and is impressed by his apartment. He compliments his friend for living in such a nice place. After talking a little, both start kissing each other passionately, and it leads to a very steamy moment of them having sex. After that, they do some nasty stuff. After they're done, the boy tells Parvis that it is his first time with a boy like him, as he is usually more into ethnic guys who are hairy and dark-skinned. Parvis is not happy to hear this and tells him that he is also not interested in pretentious white guys. He then leaves. The next day, Parvis is sitting along with other members of the community at their summer party. As everyone enjoys themselves, they engage in fun activities such as playing games, chatting, laughing, and exploring a hiking trail. During the hike, one of the boys inquires Parvis about his relationship status, asking if he has a girlfriend and seeking advice on wooing a German girl. Amon is not happy that Parvis didn't tell him about working in the shelter. He apologizes to him for that. Parvis calls Moretta and asks if she needs any help for the party. Parvis is at the party and he is helping with different things. Amon is staring at Parvis and he is confused. There's an Iranian song playing and everyone, including Parvis and Amon, is dancing. Amon seems hesitant to be with Parvis, but they both hold hands while dancing. After the dance, Amon lets go of Parvis's hand. There is a lot of drinking, singing, and dancing. Banashi invited Amon to join her at the shisha bar, offering him the tickets she had. However, Amon declined the invitation. Banashi then decided to go to the shisha bar with Parvis instead. Banashi asks Parvis if he can teach German to his brother. He mentions an organization. Banashi teases him, asking if she should tell his brother or if he will. In the parking basement, Banashi sings a nice Farsi song. As they ride the subway train, Banashi and Parvis are engrossed in lively conversation, discussing a myriad of random topics. Banashi and Parvis, in high spirits, encounter Amon during their journey. In a quaint cafe, three individuals are enjoying their time together. Banashi, slightly inebriated, introduces his brother to the other customers in a light-hearted and comical manner. Suddenly, a man approaches them and requests Banashi's phone number. Three of them stagger home from a night out. As they lay on the road enjoying a casual conversation, Banashi suddenly stands up and excuses herself to find a more private spot to pee. Amon leans in towards Parvis and in a hushed tone, he expresses his desire for some alone time in the shelter without interruptions. Parvis was sitting in his room, nervously rehearsing different ways to ask Amon out on a date. Just as he was going through the words in his mind, his sister burst into the room with a mischievous grin on her face. She teasingly asked him if he was texting Amon, clearly aware of his crush. Parvis, caught off guard, quickly replied that he was just texting his sister. Parvis' sister asks him if they should go party at the club. Both of them spend time applying makeup, getting dressed, and then head out for the party. Banashi is on a date with the man who asked for his number in the cafe. She tells him she wasn't expecting that he'd call her. She is puzzled by the man for two reasons. First, he doesn't speak Farsi. And second, he doesn't even bother to ask her what she would like to order. Instead, he takes it upon himself to place the order. Parvis is currently at the club, enjoying some drinks. He decides to send Banashi the location of the club in case she wants to join him. However, as the night goes on, Parvis ends up consuming too much alcohol and becomes intoxicated. Unfortunately, he ends up feeling ill and throws up outside the club. Banashi and Amon arrive at the scene, and Amon offers to assist Parvis. Parvis mentions that he might be feeling unwell due to something he ate. All of them stagger towards Parvis's home after a night out. This is how it is to be young, even with asylum applications, cultural misunderstandings, and language barriers hanging over your head. In the fat light of early morning, it all seems somehow humorous and easy, even though Percy is very drunk and tripping over the long blonde wig he wore all night. Banashi and Amon are going through Parvis's stuff and are looking at his pictures. Banashi asks if they should leave now, to which Amon replies he thinks they should stay with Parvis for a bit. Banashi tells him to go check on Parvis. Parvis is in the bathtub and Amon helps him. It leads to a kiss, and later on, the three of them sleep on Parvis's bed. In the morning, Banashi gets up and goes out to have water, where she meets Parvis's mother and sister. All of them are happy to meet each other. Parvis is in bed with Amon and he stares at Amon. Both indulge in an intimate moment. They start teasing and kissing each other. Parvis inquired of Amon why he didn't speak German and wondered if he was uncomfortable with the language. Amon makes fun of Parvis' accent. While both continue to tease each other physically, Amon asks Parvis if his parents are home. He says he doesn't think so, and Amon takes off Parvis' shirt and they start getting physical, thinking they are alone and Banashi has left. While Banashi is still in Parvis's house having breakfast with his parents, Banashi asked Parvis' mom about how happy they looked, and his mom shared that their happiness came after enduring tough times. While Parvis' sister is showing Banashi her house, Amon and Parvis are still in the room naked, making love. While they are lying naked in the bed, Parvis' dad barges in and Amon rushes towards his clothes and exits the room in embarrassment. Parvis yells at his father about why he entered the room, to which he replies that his phone was ringing, that's why he came to tell him. Banashi follows her brother. Parvis prepares to head to the basketball court. Amon is also at the court, but Parvis decides not to approach him because Amon had previously forbidden Parvis from speaking to him in the shelter. A friend of Amon inquires about his whereabouts the previous night, and he fabricates a story about spending time with his German girlfriend. In the refugee center, as Banashi goes about her daily tasks, an official summons her to his office for assistance. Once she finishes and prepares to depart, he informs her of her deportation order and proposes a marriage of convenience so she can remain there with his brother. He talks inappropriately to her and Banashi rejects his offer and walks away. Banashi is in distress as she lies with her brother, expressing her emotional turmoil and the difficulty of continuing to live with him. The following day, they spend time together, and Banashi and Pervez collaborate to surprise Amon on his birthday. At the shelter, Pervez and Amon are having an intimate moment and get caught by one of the shelter members. They get into a fight and Amon fights for Pervez. Pervez is at the convenience store helping her mother. He texts Amon that he wants to talk to him. In the store's warehouse, he questions his mother about whether he has let her down. His mother advises him to communicate with them and understand how challenging it was to raise him. She expressed her wish to return to Iran. Pervez wonders if he would be accepted as a gay individual in Iran. He's hesitant and uncertain. When he asks his mother why she wants to return there, she explains that his father's house, which he built 30 years ago, still stands. One of the officials from the refugee center informs Banashi that her appeal has been rejected and she would be deported. She tells this to Amon, who cries after learning this. Banashi suggests moving to Switzerland as she has saved some money, but Amon refuses by saying he doesn't want to go through the same shit again. In the refugee camp at the basketball court, Pervez meets Banashi and asks him if he can talk to Amon as it's his last day here tomorrow. She tells him he's sleeping. Pervez gives her something and tells Ben to give it to Amon. Banashi is sitting with his friends in the camp, telling them about the details of her deportation. Everyone is sad. At night, Pervez reclines with his sister and shares his mother's concerns about not fitting in here. While Banashi and Amon are asleep, Banashi receives messages from Martella informing her that the police are en route. Banashi begins to pack, wakes Amon, and urges him that they must depart. There's panic among Pervez, Amon, and Banashi. A notification that the police are en route to deport Banashi was just received. With their hearts racing from dread and adrenaline, the three friends hastily gather their stuff. Pervez comes up with a scheme to get his buddies out of town since he is committed to helping them. Under the cover of darkness, they steal from the refugee facility and move quickly and stealthily through the streets. Their strong bond is bolstered by the pressing nature of their predicament. The group takes temporary shelter in a tiny remote cabin on the outskirts of the city after hours of nervous travel. They inhale and consider their trek, exhausted yet grateful to be safe for the time being. During a peaceful moment, Pervez and Amon discuss their hopes and anxieties, which strengthens their bond. Despite her concerns about the future, Banashi takes comfort in her brother's company and their new companion. Despite its modesty, the cabin turns into a haven where they may temporarily escape the harsh reality of their lives. With a sorrowful heart, Pervez stares at Amon and Banashi, realizing that their time together is almost over. Even if it means bidding them farewell, he realizes he has to help them get away to a safer location. Although they have developed a close friendship over the past few weeks, they cannot deny the truth of their circumstances. Banashi has decided to leave. Pervez and Ben are sitting alone. She asks Pervez to promise him that he will take care of his brother when she is gone. He promises her that he will take care of Amon and will keep visiting him. In the room, Pervez and Amon share an intimate moment and Amon gets emotional and tells Pervez to not stop seeing him. Banashi records an emotional goodbye message for his brother before leaving.